as investment advice or a recommendation to buy shares in the company featured. Welcome to this Stockbox interview. Joining me on Stockbox today is the Executive Chairman of Mode Global plc, Jonathan Rowland. Now, Mode was listed on the London Stock Exchange in October of last year. It has two arms to its business, Mode Consumer and Mode Business. So, here to tell us more is, of course, Jonathan Rowland. How are you, Jonathan?
Very well, Mark. A bit cold, but thanks for having me on the show.
That's okay. No, it's really great to talk to you. And obviously, it's the first time that we're speaking. And what the business has seems to be very interesting. From what I can gather, there's the two arms, the consumer, which gives people, individuals, one place to manage all their money, as in their fiat money or their crypto, and also their loyalty programs, that kind of thing. And then Mode Business is the business side of it, where you enable businesses to transact and make payments. So, shall we start with an overview of what it is, what the company offers both to the consumer and to businesses?
Sure. So as you said, we listed last October. The business has been in operation since about 2017, and it spun out of a group that became in one direction a bank in the UK and another direction Mode Global Holdings plc. And we've got two sides to the business, as you say. We've got a consumer banking application, for want of a better word, or wallet, which is a digital app that allows users to manage their traditional and digital assets, i.e. Bitcoin, all in one place. And on the other side of the business, we have a payment solution. Actually, we've got two payment solutions. One that's historic, which is a partnership with two big Chinese companies, WeChat Pay, who's owned by Tencent, and Alipay, where we act as their merchant acquirer in the UK. So we are in essence sitting in the middle of a Chinese overseas traveller's application on their phone to a merchant in the UK, where they can use the very easy, seamless system that they have, those two companies, to acquire goods in shops using QR codes and pre-funded on their wallet. And we are the manager of the sort of software in the middle of technology, and we handle the money between both end users. But more importantly, we are in the process of launching very soon something that we call Mode for Business, which is a payment solution powered by open banking in the UK. And that means that in a very short space of time, we will be able to offer customers at the end point of the wallet, where they can utilize what is basically a banking application to manage their money and their Bitcoin, and they can use it all the way through to the merchant at the other end using our payment system, in effect bypassing credit cards, cash, and other forms of payments. It's a very new, novel system using open banking. So in a nutshell, we created a ecosystem where the consumer and the merchants are brought together using very, very new technology in a very simple way, very safe way, and cost-effective way.
Okay. So you're almost eliminating the Visa and the MasterCards of this world?
Yes, we're basically saying you can use our applications to acquire goods at merchants that have accepted our payment system to basically bypass credit cards by using a QR code, using funds that are stored in your wallet on the Mode wallet. So yes, we're bypassing credit cards. Credit cards are traditionally and historically very expensive for merchants, and we're doing it a lot cheaper. So it's an easy sell to merchants because the cost of it is far superior to that's offered to them by credit cards.
Okay. And this term, this open banking, is that to do with the blockchain or not?
Open banking is a regulation protocol that's been brought in to allow people to manage their sort of their accounts far easier. So you're allowed to share information between different banks. It's just it's a new protocol that's opened up the sort of banking and non-bank financial companies to share details of the customers at their request. And it just makes things a lot easier for the execution of transactions going forward, basically.
Okay. So I mean, I guess you're one of a very small number of companies operating in this space. Is that right?
I think with our offering that will be the Mode wallet is live now. We have thousands of customers using it on a daily basis, and we have thousands of people using our WeChat and Alipay system.
Mm-hmm.
The new system will be live very soon, and I think we will be the first mover in this field. We know two or three other people who are doing it, but they don't have the full package that we have of one end the consumer and the other end the merchant. So some people are focused on Bitcoin, some people are focused on wallets, some people are focused on payments and open banking. We're doing the whole thing.
Okay. Now, I mean, taking on or trying to remove the likes of the big card transaction processing brands in the world, that's quite a feat, isn't it? Would you say quite a challenge you set yourself?
Well, we're not replacing them. We're just offering another service. So if you're a merchant, you might have 3 or 4 services on your platform to accept payment. One would be MasterCard and Visa, one might be PayPal, and one might be us. So we're not trying to replace them. We're just showing that there is an easier, safer, more secure way of doing it alongside these guys. And there's actually no reason for a merchant not to take it up.
Okay. So what's the plan then, Jonathan, to approach potential merchants and get going?
We have a number of merchants already on board through the WeChat and Alipay channels, but we've been pre-marketing our payment system that's coming to market soon with merchants all over the UK. We signed 5 or 6 launch merchants now, and we haven't had any knockback because, again, we're not trying to replace something. We're not trying to reinvent the wheel in terms of how they accept payments. We're just doing it differently. And as long as they can get it through their procurement process relatively quickly, we're not seeing any troubles. The only thing we're seeing is people delaying things because they need education and don't understand how it works. But on the smaller to mid-sized merchants, it's an easy sell. So it's the bigger ones that take longer to procure these sort of things, but we're not seeing any sort of pushback on it from anyone.
Okay, and I guess then that it's all under the Mode. So the merchant would need to have your system installed, and then the person paying, the consumer, would need to have the Mode banking app on their phone. Is that how it would work? Yes. Okay. So yes. I guess the key selling point for you then for businesses would be to be able to demonstrate how many customers you have, how many consumers. So what can you tell us about that and the plans to build on that?
So I think we put together a plan at the beginning of the IPO for the prospectus that our user base would be 1 million over 3 years, or just under. We're far exceeding that on a monthly basis at the moment in terms of run rate, getting up to that number. So we, as the Bitcoin price rises and the interest in Bitcoin is adopted, our application is becoming much more relevant to people. And just as an example of this part of the sales pitch to the merchant, if you take some of the other banking applications, we're not a bank, by the way. We don't have a banking license. We're regulated by the FCA, but we do not have a banking license. We use partners for that. If you take people like Monzo and Starling Bank, which I'm sure you've heard of,
yes,
they have an average customer balance of somewhere between 150 and 250 pounds. Our average customer balance in Mode is 10 times that. And that's because people are taking the view that they want to dip their toe into Bitcoin, and they're sending far bigger amounts of money, more like investment type money. And what it means is we have a captured market of customers with an average balance of £2,500 to £3,000, which can then utilize that to go to the merchant. Whereas if someone like Monzo or Revolut or Starling or some of these other guys go to the merchants and say, we'd like to work with you, they can't demonstrate the amount of investment or acquisition capital that we have with our customers. So it's a great selling point for us that we have a 10 times that of Monzo and Starling customer balance. Also, the cost of this is nothing to the merchant. Integrating into their point of sale systems or into technology costs nothing, takes a bit of time, it doesn't cost anything. And they can just sit it on their platforms as another option to pay. So it's not really, there's no barriers to entry. And what we offer them is security using QR codes and our technology. We offer them a lower cost per transaction and per customer, and the security around it is far superior to a lot of the other payment systems out there because the technology moves on so far. So it's not a difficult sell. It's more like when you go to the bigger merchants, they say, well, we've got 5 or 10 different things we're doing in the payment space in terms of integrating further PayPal stuff, whatever it may be. We'll put you on our roadmap, but that's a year out. So that's the issue we have. It's more procurement and when it comes onto the roadmap for them.
Okay.
What we do offer, though, which is quite interesting, which nobody really offers, is the ability very shortly to buy goods using Bitcoin. So that is something that we know retailers and merchants are looking at now. We can do it pretty easily in the near future for customers too and for merchants. So it's an interesting sort of addition to our offering.
Okay. And from a user's point of view then, why would a user choose to use Mode? What's sort of special about you as opposed to another place you could hold your Bitcoin or what have you?
Okay, so there's not many places you can go. And if you're a guy on the street or a girl on the street, you're usually going to go to the places where you've seen advertised or you see in the media. And those usual places are Coinbase, and then the list gets pretty short. What we're offering is we're the cheapest on the market to trade Bitcoin. So we charge 0.99% of any trading Bitcoin that's acquired. That is the cheapest on the market by far. The app is easy to use. It's the easiest app that anyone who we've talked to has come across. So if you're not au fait with using applications or buying Bitcoin, this is very easy. We do a lot of education on our blogs on our website. So we're and the UX, the user experience is very, very superior and well sort of documented and regarded. So we find that people use it because it's easy, it looks good, it's cheap, and it's safe. And the Bitcoin that is bought by a user is held at BitGo, which is one of our partners, which are the biggest, one of the biggest custodians in the world now. So we've done everything as best in class, easy to use, simple, cost effective, and people like that. And the more marketing dollars that we spend, and we've spent hardly anything, closer to zero than anything else. The more marketing dollars we spend, we believe the bigger the uptake. You can also hold sterling and euro balances safely on our application. People aren't doing it for that because they want to buy Bitcoin and they want to get access to the payment system. But we do have customer balances in sterling and euro too.
Okay, you mentioned there the custodian that the crypto is held with. So that does bring me on to another question, which is of course about security. How confident are you in the security of people's Bitcoin? Because I know it's a big thing where people say, not your keys, not your crypto, and talk about cold storage. But what would you say to that?
Well, we've gone to one of the top 2 providers globally. That cost more, obviously, for us, but it was part of our plan to do things properly with best in class, regulated. So we've gone to the equivalent of Fort Knox. And the company also offers an insurance guarantee on up to a certain amount of crypto to its partners. So we think we've done all the mitigation we need to do in terms of risk of trouble. They've had no trouble to date. So we think we offer a solution for our customers that gives them the sort of comfort that we're working with best in breed.
Okay, and what's your opinion on these challenger banks? As opposed to traditional high street banks, do you think there's a shift in attitude with younger generations who would be happy to put their trust into an organization that they can't see? It's only based on a phone or a computer. That maybe they can't walk in and speak to someone. What would you say on that? That sort of putting all your trust in one organization.
So we're not a challenger bank. My view on challenger banks is they are a much needed addition to the financial services in the UK and beyond. The legacy banks are showing signs of real fatigue. I think that the challenger banks have filled a gap which anyone under a certain age particularly likes to use. They're very easy to use. The user experience is very good. They don't usually hold much money in them, as I've said before.
Mm.
Um, and I think that the future is going to be secured by people like them and people like us who, we're not a bank, but we have ambitions to potentially become one day. But I think that the user, I won't put an age bracket on it because I'm not sure what it is, but the younger users, they don't want to talk to anyone. They don't want any sort of intermediary. They just want to do things at the click of a button very quickly. And what we're doing with Mode is offering that simplicity and ease of use for everything we do. So you can download the app. You can transfer money through faster payments from your HSBC or Barclays account to us, and you can buy Bitcoin. And we've seen people doing that in less than 4 minutes. That whole process. So you can see it's very, very simple to get into the space of the challenger banks or the people like us who are a non-bank financial service institutions. You can see the very, very easy way that you can transfer your money into something and buy something and get the benefit of that something very easily at a very short space of time, limited clicks. And we're doing a lot of education around that for people who are not necessarily au fait with using their phone to do banking, but also are interested to get involved. So it's just an educational thing. It's going to change. The world is being revolutionized at the moment. It's been accelerated by the pandemic. The pandemic has obviously clearly brought adoption of certain things forward 10, 20, 30 years. And, by luck, we're in that space. We didn't realize the pandemic was going to come, but the uptake during the last year has been massive for us. So you can see the way the world's going, and the legacy banks have to either adapt, which is very difficult, or maybe disappear.
Okay. And are there any plans to do users to be able to hold other cryptocurrencies, or are you just sticking with Bitcoin for now?
Yeah, I mean, we go based on what the demand is. So we obviously have a lot of social media coverage, and people obviously want to see further cryptocurrencies. Ethereum would be the obvious one. I'm skeptical about anything beyond that at this stage. I think what we're trying to do is do something that's mainstream and people can understand and has some sort of safety and security to it. Bitcoin seems to have that. Ethereum seems to have that. So I think over this period of this year, we would probably add Ethereum to our offering.
Okay, great. Well, thank you very much, Jonathan. Just a final thought then. What, from a shareholder point of view in Mode, of course, you are listed on the London Stock Exchange. We've talked a lot about the company. But in terms of what shareholders would like to hear, what's the sort of roadmap going forward? Or do you have any things that people can look forward to in the short term?
Yeah, I mean, just to take a step back, we took the company public because I was comfortable with the public environment. And I think with the economic uncertainty around where we are today, that the ability to have a public vehicle gives us the opportunity to make acquisitions and raise further money. The value of the company was valued at a point where the shareholders were happy. It didn't really matter to us because we all followed our money into the IPO as pre-IPO shareholders. And if you look at our peers or our competition privately, there's no public competition, by the way. So privately, the challenger banks and the FinTech companies are valued at hundreds of millions, billions. Revolut's at billions, Monzo's billions, Starling's now 800 million. There's clearly an arbitrage between our pricing and their pricing, and that's something that hasn't been factored into the market, in my view, yet. In terms of the roadmap going forward, first of all, we are the only listed business in the UK that has a consumer crypto digital asset offering at its core. There's no one else. The only other company that has any sort of exposure of any relevance is Argo Blockchain, which you may have heard of. It's them and us. And their share price is up 1,000% in the last year, I believe. Our roadmap, some of the things that have been talked about are obviously our open banking payment system being delivered very soon, Android being delivered very soon, and a number of key merchants signing up to our system over the coming months will be key to the next few months. We are continuously reiterating and iterating and changing and innovating our platform. So things like Ethereum are obviously something we'd like to look at. there might be some acquisitions down the road that are interesting for us in the fintech space. We're very interested in things like know your customer software and credit scoring software and things like that. So there's a lot going on. There's a lot of acquisitions we may look at or have been considering, but it's just continue to innovate and become the leader in the field of what we're doing, which is our main focus.
Okay. Well, Jonathan Rowland there, the Executive Chairman of Mode PLC, thank you very much for your time.
Thanks very much.
Thank you for listening to this Stockbox interview. For more information, interviews and videos, visit our website at stockboxmedia.com or give us a follow on Twitter by searching @StockboxMedia.